If everyone could take their seats, please. Okay, we're now resuming our meeting from closed session. Okay, are there any public comments? Okay, consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions or? The chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Number 1, personnel recommendations. Number 2, appointment of school treasurer. 3, establishment of board meeting dates, times, and places. 4, adoption of student handbook. 5, resolution to dispose of equipment. 6, abatement of working cash funds. And 7, approval of May 2014 expenditure report.
It's a student textbook, not the handbook.
Adoption of student textbook?
Yeah, adoption of student textbook.
Did I say handbook?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
textbook. I apologize for that. Okay,
So moved.
Second.
and roll call, please, Mrs. McMahon?
Mr. Armstrong?
Yes.
Ms. Caparelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Charlton?
Yes.
Mrs. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Notbush?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Okay, then, the next item on the agenda, the agenda says celebrate success from the WTA, by the way, but the WTA is not presenting tonight, so we'll have that at another meeting. Okay, so student handbook revisions, first reading.
Kevin Weck, assistant principal from the high school, facilitated the handbook committee, and he'll discuss the changes with the board.
Good evening. Just so everyone knows, my name is Kevin Weck, Assistant Principal, Dean of Students at the high school. I'd first like to thank the school board and Mr. Carey for giving me the opportunity to present the recommendations for the student handbook for the year 2014-2015. I'd also like to recognize the parent participants with the handbook committee: Susan Kretz, Elena Midlova, Jamie Chanel, Shannon Kozart, Courtney Templeton, and Tracy Volmers. This is the first reading, and the recommendation for the 2014-15 student handbooks have been provided in the board book for tonight. And based on the board feedback tonight, the recommendations will be presented for board approval then on June 3rd. The handbook committee process, I first spoke with Mr. Carey early in the second semester to discuss the process. I then reached out to all building administrators, asked them to work with their faculty and staff to identify areas that they'd like to revise for the 2014-15 school year for their student handbook. After building administrators did that, they reached out to me. They sent me all the revisions and recommendations. I then gathered that information, worked with the parent committee to discuss and revise and provide additional recommendations for the student handbooks for each building level. After gathering all of that information, I then sent it back to building administrators as recommendations from the parent committee. Building administrators took that into consideration and then provided me with their final recommendations for the 2014-15 school year. I presented that to the school board for tonight's board meeting. Now, to begin with elementary handbook, are there any questions pertaining to the recommendations for the elementary handbook? Junior high?
I have a
Sure, go ahead.
quick
Go ahead.
question on the junior high
Sure.
page, in your page 18 in the handbook.
Sure.
So are we replacing the all in-school suspensions begin, but, and that's coming out, is there something going in?
Well, I think that the recommendation for that was based on the timing because of the 4:15 dismissal.
Okay.
I think that the specific times in here were the areas of concern for Mr. Jonak, in which he wanted to take that out of the student handbook for that, and it's just going to be for the regular school day.
So again, is that being stricken and something else going in?
Oh, no, so that is going to be taken out.
Okay.
Yeah, and there was nothing that was brought to my attention for bringing into the student handbook from there.
The junior high will still have in-school suspension. It's just that it won't end at 4:10, rather it will end at the normal school day. So this provision just stipulated that if you were in in-school suspension, you were in there until 4:10. And so if you want, we can make that modification where it's still listed and has the end time as the end of the school day. But the intent is to still have in-school
Okay, that was
suspension.
my question, just like, so
Yeah.
I can see how it would be confusing. So I would just maybe suggest to state what it is.
Sure, keep the language in without the specific time, or saying the time would end
Did you
at,
say no later than 4:10?
Yeah.
It would still be up to the principal what time he wanted to end it?
sure.
Right?
Is
Oh,
there
I'm not trying to-
language in the actual handbook before or after this that would make it clear? Like,
For-
is it actually necessary to add something here? Because we're only seeing that one sentence.
Right.
That's why
Is there
I'm,
some language right before or right after it that makes it clear that the discipline is the length of the school day? Or is that assumed? I mean, you just said it would
Right,
be. So is that there, or?
Right, we'll check to see, I'm confident there's wording that explains in-school suspension. And we'll see then for clarification if we,
Okay.
need to have those times in place.
okay, great, thank you.
Any other questions pertaining to the junior high handbook? Okay, and I just wanted to talk for a second on the high school recommendations. There was a lot of information for the high school recommendations because we did have to go through, we changed the graduation requirements from 20 credits to 22. So a lot of new course offerings and a lot of new requirements for incoming freshmen. So we wanted to make sure we were very explicit with that information. And with the state testing, because that is in flux right now, we decided to eliminate a lot of the information regarding the ACT, the Explorer, the plan, because as of right now, the state doesn't necessarily know exactly what that's going to look like for next year.
So we won't be giving Explore and Plan next year?
Well, right now, we're waiting on the state to make the final decisions for that. And we don't have that information as of right now, so for the 2014-15 school year, because we have to have this information developed by the end of the school year, we decided that we just eliminate it for right now until we have some clearer picture from the state. Any questions?
And maybe this is where you were, or not, so page 36 on the handbook, those two paragraphs are coming out. It says private colleges, universities, and then State University in Illinois. Again, without having the whole book in front of us, does there need to be something in there, or
Regarding the,
replacing those, on here it just says those two paragraphs are being stricken. So,
I think because it says, if you look at private colleges and university have different entrance requirements, because those have changed, state universities in Illinois, those have changed, that has been taken out of the handbook is to eliminate confusion for students
Okay.
in terms of what some of those requirements are.
okay.
So will we go to print on this before the decision's made by the state?
Possibly, because that's the one thing, at some point in time, we do have to go to print in order to have them available for the start of the school year.
Is it-
And,
Is it worthwhile for all that stuff that's being taken out, 47, 48, all of this, right? 46, 47, 40, is it worthwhile if we have to go to print before the decision's made to just put a sentence, have that header and say, due
to the state.
changes that are being
Subject to.
controlled by the state or subject, just so if we do have to go to print, it's not like this just disappeared. That we're saying, there could very well be valuable information someday if the state ever sorts it
Yeah,
out.
we could put a sentence in there just stating that at the time of print that we did not have enough information
Just 'cause there's a lot.
regarding
I
the
mean,
state
that's-
requirements for
That's a
testing.
lot of stuff that's going away, so.
Can
Yeah.
you, yeah, and can you also include, where would they get this information? Say this information comes
They
available.
could check on a website or.
Well, either on our website, or is it their guidance
Guidance.
counselor?
Guys,
could do-
Yeah, I would.
Where
that
they
sounds-
could
Please
go
refer
for
to,
this.
sure.
That sounds good, putting in a.
Mr. Carey, you taking, I don't have a pen on me right now. Sorry.
Wow. Anybody notice that?
I could remind you.
Oh, thank you.
It's like being at home.
Sorry. No, I got it right here. I'll just jot that down.
Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Independent study. It says, cooperative effort by the teacher and the student as long as the teacher is agreeable to such an arrangement. Shouldn't the parent also be involved in that decision? Page 46. Students who demonstrate an interest and proficiency in a given subject area may work independently on topics selected through a cooperative effort by the teacher and the student as long as the teacher is agreeable to such an arrangement. Shouldn't the parent also agree to that arrangement?
I believe it also references the student has to complete the independent study application, and that does require
Okay.
parent sign-off.
On that topic, actually, I had a question too, kind of related. Back at the beginning, page 6, there was a change to the wording on the natural adopted parent, just a parent. And I don't know if this is still widely done or not, but it used to be everything was parent or guardian.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, I do know there's a number of families, or there's a number of kids where they're living with grandparents or foster families, things like that. So I don't know
Yeah, no,
what's
that's,
common these days, but
Parent
that's a
or
thought.
guardian.
Yeah, parent or guardians.
I think that was in one of the others too.
Oh, yeah, it was in the junior high
Okay.
also, and it might have been in the
I
elementary
think
too.
it's in all of them.
I
Yeah.
think that's one of the district.
yeah, you're right.
I have back to the junior high for a second. On page 21 of the book, where it talks about parent conferences. So now the new language, we're taking out that part about the student's portfolio and everything. And then it says, I guess this is added, teachers update student progress weekly during the school year. So I want, I guess this is more of a question for Kevin. Is that something, this is in the student's handbook, but is this something that's understood at the teachers, that they have to
Right.
update Skyward weekly?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions for the high school handbook?
Looks good.
Okay.
So the questions and suggestions the board have had this evening, Kevin and I will work together, and June 3rd then, you'll see those reflected in what's presented to the board. And then once the board takes action on those changes, then we'll begin the process of revising our handbooks and then going to print for those.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Go Hawks.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is approval of the next discussion item. Westmont Swim Club contract amendment.
Kim?
A month or so ago, we had the EBERT discussion about the swimming pool, and we talked about having the Westmont Swim Club, where we would allow them to operate the pool for next year. We're currently working on the 14-15 contract. Our attorney is working on revisions for that. But what we have for you this evening is an amendment to the current 13-14 contract to allow them to operate the Learn to Swim programs for the summer. The stipend position that we have in place ends with the school year. We pay then an hourly rate for the summer. And so in order to get the swim club kind of in and see how things are going to operate, thought that it would be a good idea to have them start those programs this summer to kind of build capacity and get a good following of clientele and work on our programs. So what we have for you tonight is the amendment for the summer hours, which is the period of June 9th through August 2nd. The times are listed in the amendment, though, so they'll run lessons from Monday through Friday and actually on Saturday mornings. And in exchange for that, they will pay us an additional $5,000 for the facility instead of the hourly rate. And then, that expires at the end of this contract, and then, we're gonna renegotiate terms for the 14-15. When we do the 14-15, again, that will be a one-year contract so that all parties can see how things go and then renegotiate after that point in time. Does anybody have any questions about that?
I just have a question in terms of, so now the Westmont Swim Club will be in our high school for these times.
Correct.
These timeframes. And so I guess, are they gonna have their own keys to the building? Is there gonna be administrators there? How does that work in terms of?
Adam Cremio has a key to he has a fob to get
Okay.
into the building. So they use our building, throughout the year at all different times, and he has access. He'll just have that same access
Okay.
that he has now.
Just to the pool area.
Yeah, just to the pool area.
Yeah, just to the pool area. Okay. Okay. I thought so. I just wanted to.
Can I clarify one thing or ask one question? The stipend position, that was the 12.5 that we had talked about. So everything we paid in the summer was over and above that 12.5?
Correct.
And we won't have those expenses
We will not have
in the summer
those.
because they will all be picked up by the Westmont Swim,
Well, right, and our current staff has the opportunity to contact Adam Cremio to seek employment with the Westmont Swim Club.
Okay.
So they will hire lifeguards, staff the pool, make all those work assignments.
I guess that'll bring me to my insurance question. If they're doing the hiring for the lifeguards, are there any standards that we're setting in the contract to make sure that the lifeguards are of a certain quality, a certain state standard? Because it's gonna be our insurance if somebody gets hurt, right?
No, they have insurance as
Okay.
well. Yes, they have $1 million liability and $4 million excess coverage. We've already run that through our insurance provider to make sure that that's adequate with the change, and that has been approved, and that there will be language in there in the new contract that really stipulates a lot of that information. They have lifeguards there. I mean, they run the swim team, so they have lifeguards there now in the current programs that they do when they have
Okay.
swim practice.
Gary brings up a good point, though. Should we have something in this amendment? Because now they're gonna have, because the current contract we have with them ends when?
In August.
Oh, it ends in August?
Yes.
Okay, so it's already in the contract that they have insurance?
Yes,
for-
yes.
For all times that they're there?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, $1 million of regular liability, $4 million of excess coverage.
Okay, so it would come under,
Mhm.
okay, got it. Thank you.
Can you clarify? We are not selling.
Yes, I'm not sure, and, social media can be a great thing, but sometimes it's not really very reliable. So, somewhere there is a rumor out there that we are selling, we have sold the pool, that we took bids for this. None of the above are true. We have not sold the pool. We've never discussed selling the pool. That would probably be pretty difficult to sell a piece of our building. There was nothing that we did not take any action that would require us to go out to bid for any of these services. So everything we have done has followed all of the legal requirements, and So hopefully everyone is, puts their mind at ease that we have not sold anything. All we've done is shift who's managing the pool and from our employees to the Westmont Swim Club. And again, our staff that works for us has been informed. We've talked with Penny McGill, the swim coordinator, about this and have let her know and asked her to make sure that all the lifeguards know that they have the opportunity to contact Adam Cremio to seek employment with the Westmont Swim Club.
Thanks, Kim.
And I thank Mary Kay for stopping that spreading on by directing people to the meetings where we are having discussions about that. So it's kind of nice to have that where we can refer to where the discussions are happening and stuff. So thank you. Thank you. Okay, anything else on that? Are you? Okay, so then are we gonna?
Right.
Okay, so then the next item on the agenda is to the approval of the Westmont Swim Club contract amendment. The chair will enter a motion to approve the addendum to the 2013-14 facility use agreement with the Westmont Swim Club as presented.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Ms. Caparelli?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Hancock?
Yes.
Mrs. Napbush?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
yes,
Mr. Armstrong?
Yes.
Mrs. Charlton?
Yes. All right, superintendent's report?
Just a couple items. One is a reminder that we have a joint committee meeting, and it's on May 20th. Unfortunately, when that date was set, there was a different date for the Spring Sports Awards for the high school. And in consulting with the high school, they can't move because of the month of May. So unfortunately, we have that conflict, but what will cause a change for us now is originally we were planning on meeting at the high school. We'll plan on meeting at the junior high so that we don't run into any issues with use of the facility. So at 6:30 p.m., May 20th, at the junior high. And again, it's our strategic planning, climate, finance, facility committee updates, and also we'll be doing a PLC update as well. And we'll be getting that information out to our committee members and our parents.
Before you, are you done with that?
Yep.
Okay, can I ask, because the joint committee is, limited number of people who, obviously everyone's invited. Can we have, especially the PLC, because we had discussed that before, can we have that presented at a board meeting?
Sure.
Especially since it's, taped and so people can, because then again, it kind of goes to that same thing. If people are asking what's happening at the PLCs, we can refer
Sure.
people to that. So that would
Sure.
just be helpful.
So we'll share information on the 20th, but
Okay.
then we'll also, the June 3rd board meeting, share similar information with regards to PLCs. the
Yeah,
update.
I'm not saying it has to be done in June, but I'm just suggesting that we can do, okay, thank you.
But, and then the second thing is the professional learning community update, and again, on the 20th. And, we're going to be able to, again, show how buildings have been utilized in that time, because we know that some of our community members were concerned about the loss of contact time. And the other thing that is starting to occur is we are starting to collect some data. Some of it's anecdotal, but some of the changes that are happening within grade levels, and then also conversations teachers are having, which are having a direct impact on students' performance on standardized tests and different assessments, and so we'll be able to share that information as well. In terms of communication, just a reminder that on May 19th at 7:00 p.m. at South School, we'll be having a State of the District, and also an opportunity for a forum with the Board of Education. And so again, parents and community members will have an opportunity to find out some of the positive changes that have taken place in our district, some of the plans we have going forward, but then also have an opportunity to ask any questions they have regarding the school district of the board, to also maybe share some of their thoughts and concerns related to the district, as well as provide feedback to the board regarding the most recent referendum question that the district asked. And so again, that'll be May 19th, 7:00 p.m. at South School. And we will, again, we've sent some information out today. We'll be doing the parent link as well. We did try to work through the newspaper. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get into the edition of the paper, and as well as we also posted on the village calendar as well. So it's there for our community members to see.
Kevin, I have a question about communications. Recently, a couple different parents reached out to me about their concerns with the changing of the ALP program at the elementary school. And they don't feel that they have been communicated well to about the changes, so I'm hoping that we can address that as soon as possible, because I know that, parents are always nervous when there's change.
Sure,
Okay, but
sure.
we need to get that communication out there. Maybe you want to give a little, is there any information you could give right now to these parents?
Yes, and part of this is connected to the Common Core and some of the changes we need to make within our curriculum. But we were discussing at our admin meeting today, we are planning on, and unfortunately, it's just, again, just how jam-packed the end of the school year becomes. But it'll probably shortly after the end of the school year, we are planning on having a parent meeting to discuss the changes that we're anticipating with our math curriculum. And the one thing that we will be doing to kind of put parents' minds at ease, because some of the feedback we've gotten is, well, twofold. One is, how does this impact my child, next year in math? But then also, long-term, if my expectation is that my child, by the time they exit Westmont High School, will be able to take, for instance, calculus, they'll be prepared for that, they'll be prepared for college level math. We will be able to show them the flow chart of what the math sequence will be, so that they can see where their child, when they get to high school, where they'll be at mathematically in terms of their course selection, and then also that the capstone will still be calc at the high school. So we'll definitely, and also follow up with written communication as well. But yes, our intent is to communicate to our parents and then have that parent meeting for our families as well. And then the other plan also is next year, periodically, and not just because it came up most recently with the math, but we're anticipating doing when we bring on the instructional coaches who are also going to be assisting with gifted. We're anticipating some changes. So periodically throughout the year, we're anticipating having meetings for parents to, again, share with them some of the changes that are occurring with the curriculum, some of the things we're doing with literacy as well, and then also the math program periodically next year to continue to communicate to the parents the changes.
Can I ask that, because I know we've been contacted via email, but I know some parents have been calling too. Can we make sure that information goes out, like ASAP?
Sure.
That the plans, what the plans are? Because I think, from what I'm hearing, at some of these meetings with the parents, it was like, well, we're doing away with this, but there really wasn't information as to what's coming. And I know some of the concerns are, our kid's going to be repeating something or something
Sure,
along those
sure.
lines. So I think the more we tell people that not only are we just changing something, but we're changing it like you just
Right.
represented. Now, I'm sure all of our families are watching this meeting tonight, but for the few that aren't, having something that, specifically comes out, probably, I'm not telling you, but from the bigger picture, like what the whole district is doing. So that would, I think, be very helpful.
Right, and one of the things we'll include as well, as you're suggesting, the concern about students repeating, possibly curriculum. We understand that it's we have to work through a transition, so we need to take a look at where the student learner is, so that as we transition, we make sure that doesn't occur.
Okay, okay, great. That would be great. Okay. Anything else, Kevin?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Then, are there any board reports?
Couple things. One, just there's the big AP conference on the 23rd
Yes.
at the high school, which is pretty exciting. I think we're drawing from 30 different schools for that. And, it's a neat opportunity. Also, actually, I don't know. They were going to confirm this, but I believe tomorrow night is the presentation. I don't know, Kevin, if you know if this is still on, the human trafficking presentation?
Yes,
I-
it is.
Yes.
Yep,
Okay.
that's one of our,
I was going to actually kind of read some of these, all these dates. that-
Okay, well,
but go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, go ahead. That's the first one, so go ahead.
so, well, brief commentary. I think for what it is, for anyone watching, tomorrow night at the high school is a presentation on human trafficking, and the whole thing is being done by a high school student sorry, I'm totally blanking on the name of the program.
Changemakers.
Changemakers program, thank you. And this is amazing. I know a lot of adults that can't schedule this, FBI agents and so forth attending and presenting, and this is just really exciting. I think this is really cool that the high school is giving the kids an opportunity to do something like this, and the guidance and the opportunity to put this on. So the Changemaker program I think is really cool, and this is a great example of it, so.
Adding on to that, the other Changemaker, the other kids who are in the Changemakers will be there with like a booth showing their work of what they've done. But really, the night is mostly about that meeting, but, so. Any other board?
I'll just want to say, this was my last student that was in the Manning Spring Concert, so I attended that this year, and it was wonderful, as it always has been. But I like the way that this year they incorporated themes from Rachel's Challenge into the program, so that was a nice way of connecting that and keeping that at the forefront in our schools. So appreciate that.
It was nice to see, did you know about it, that the engagement of the teacher on stage in front of all her students?
I had found out
That was pretty
prior,
cool.
yes.
That was pretty cool. Watching the kids' faces on those videos was pretty exciting stuff, so. Okay, well, I'm just gonna kind of read through some of this. We've already talked about that. District Spring Concert, I think that's jazz concert.
Yes,
I
I
think
believe
that's
so.
a jazz concert. May 15th, 6:30 at the high school. The Manning Drama, that's that fourth grade drama club performance, May 16th at 7 o'clock, Manning School. As we talked about before, it's State of the District presentation and board, what do we call that?
Forum.
Board forum, May 19th at 7 at South School Conference Room. May 20th at 6:30 at the Westmont Junior High Joint Committee meeting. May 22nd, Manning School Reading Night, 6:30 Westmont Public Library. May 22nd, also Westmont Junior High Choral Concert at the junior high at 7. May 27th, Westmont High School Graduation, 7 o'clock at the high school. And May 29th, Westmont Junior High School Graduation at 7 o'clock, followed by the school board meeting at June 3rd, 7 o'clock.
Or is that is it 6:30, Judy, for the awards? For the recognition, the June 3rd?
For the,
Oh, yes.
Student recognition.
Because it's, June 3rd is the student recognition school board meeting.
it
so
is,
that
it is
starts at
6:30
That
start.
starts at 6:30.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's a
sure.
reception that night too at 6 for the retirees.
Right, there will
Oh,
be a
okay.
reception for
And reception,
retirees at
thank
6.
you, reception for retirees at 6 o'clock. This is the June 3rd school board meeting, and the school board meeting starts at 6:30 for the student recognition.
And one other quick thing, and we'll communicate this to our parents because we're becoming aware that some of our families may not know the change that has occurred for schools. This year, the last day of school must be a full day. And so our students will be in session on June 5th for the entire school day. So our families may be used to having about an hour and a half school day, and then the kids will be home. Unfortunately, we can't do that anymore because of changes in legislation. So they will be in for a full day. And again, we'll communicate that to families so that they're not waiting for their child to return very quickly after the start of the school year, but they will have a full day.
There's learning to be done that day.
Yeah.
Should we also mention the change of where the junior high is actually going to be holding its
Oh,
graduation this year?
you know what, that's a good point. The junior high graduation, I'm gonna see, is it on? The junior high, yeah, okay, that's not, thank you. The junior high graduation on May 29th at 7 o'clock will be held at the high school, not the Westmont Junior High School. So, thank you, Gary. Westmont High School. Okay, are there any other board reports? No? Are there any public comments? All right, then the chair will entertain a motion. Oh, wait a minute. We got it. No, I have to add.
Yeah, the evaluation.
The chair will entertain a motion to enter closed session for the purpose of discussing the superintendent's evaluation, collective bargaining, personnel issues, student discipline, and probable litigation.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Armstrong?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mrs. Natbush?
Yes?
Mrs. Charlton?
Yes,
Mrs. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Caprelli?
Yes, please.
and there will not be a vote after